Now, let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Yvonne Rohrbacher, and let's queer up gay culture. New York City lawmaker warns Amtrak crackdown on cruising sites revives dark days of gay entrapment. A gay elected official in New York is sounding the alarm after a series of arrests at a Penn Station bathroom has reignited memories of a painful chapter in queer history. Last week, the city revealed that the Amtrak Police Department, a federal police force that operates outside New York City's sanctuary laws, has been conducting sting operations in a Penn Station restroom. The bathroom was listed as a hotspot on the queer hookup app Sniffies, which means somebody's been looking at it. Since June 1st, more than 200 arrests have been made for public lewdness, and at least 20 men are now in ICE custody. State Senator Brad Hoylman-Sigal, a gay lawmaker running for Manhattan Borough President, condemned the arrests, and he told Out, "These arrests harken back to the dark days of trapping gay men and other members of the community in public spaces like restrooms." Add to that toxic mix ICE and the Trump administration's efforts to round up undocumented New Yorkers or anybody else that they can. It was a rather frightening callback to a period that we thought had long passed in queer American history. Hoylman, along with Representative Jerrold Nadler, State Senator Liz Krueger, and Assembly Member Tony Simone, sent a letter on Friday to Amtrak President Roger Harris, demanding that the sting operations end. Hoylman confirmed Harris had agreed to meet with them. Separately, City Council members Erik Bottcher and Tiffany Cabán also pressed Amtrak for answers, calling the reports deeply alarming violations of civil rights, due process, and protections against discriminatory policing. Legal experts say the crackdown represents a broader attack on queer life. The controversy has raised questions about how far federal policing should go. Well, that's a common question these days, and whether New York is seeing a dangerous return to tactics once used to entrap queer men during the McCarthy era. Well, it certainly harkens back to that in anyone that's grown up in any size of a city, well, unless they're not as old as me, know a time when that very regular raids on places where they thought gay men hung out and might be trying to have sex with each other would happen on a regular basis in most cities across the United States. And this is definitely just making me remember those kinds of horrible times in our history. It's talking about during the McCarthy era. I'm sure that they're thinking about the things that led up to the Stonewall riots at this point.
No, well, first of all, it's someone who's known and worked occasionally with Senator Brad Hoylman for some workers' rights legislation. Like, he's always been an amazing state senator to work with. He's been also a very proudly and unapologetically openly gay man. This is not the first time he's spoken out on LGBTQ rights issues in a way that you wouldn't necessarily expect a gay politician to talk about. But with this, some gay politicians might be afraid of talking about this, and I'm just glad that he just went there. And also, every time LGBTQ advocates and LGBTQ groups are like, oh, the police are our friends, and I keep trying to say, no, they're not. Policing is a very dangerous thing. America has seen this. We saw from Black Lives Matter protesters in 2020 reminding us that the police do not treat us very well in this country. And then, in New York, I know most of this is federal, but I'm not surprised that a state where the sitting governor thought the way to deal with occasional petty crime on the subway was to call in the National Guard.
Yeah.
And a president who then took that and said, well, let's really just put that on steroids as a nation. I'm not surprised to see any of this, but I'm glad to see Senator Hoylman calling it out. And also, Senator, if you're watching, congratulations on your primary win for Manhattan Borough President. I think you'd be a great borough president, and I hope that, more people start waking up to the fact that this is not a good thing. Even when I was at the National LGBTQ Task Force, we did signs when it came to police and gun violence. We did signs that said police plus guns equal death. Most queer activists did not want to touch that sign. I was like, no, it's accurate. It's accurate. People adapt too much.
It is, and I'm thinking about all the entrapment and inappropriate ways that they found to say that somebody should be arrested for lewdness. All the things that have happened in the past, that they have to be doing that stuff. I'm sure they're using all kinds of slimy tactics.
You know, we have bigger issues in this country, in this world
That's for
even.
sure.
And society is really under attack. I feel like, you know, from a spiritual perspective, I truly feel like there is something oppressing the planet on a spiritual level, because it really, when we are oppressed in that way and the light is dimmed, there's this sense of a need to rise up and shine. It breaks my heart that we're dealing with this still. I grew up in an era, I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but actually in Texas, I remember as a child, probably I was about 9 years old, and I saw in our local school yearbook that there was an ad about Home of the Hanging Tree. And it broke my heart, because it just reminded me of communities that I was drawn to, that I could tell they were outsiders, but they were being literally threatened in the media. And it broke my heart. This reminds me of that, which is surprising. I haven't thought of that in many years.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh boy. Well, hopefully all those people that we saw on that list, not just one openly gay person, but about 7 other folks that are in positions of power, are going after this. And I hope that they're able to suppress some of the, I'm sure, like I said, slimy tactics and just people that just have the prejudices fueling what they're doing.
And hopefully it goes farther, where the State House investigates, and hopefully a future New York City mayor, maybe a Mandani of some kind, deals with this. And that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.